So we've done solving systems with graphing. We've done solving systems with substitution. And now we're going to look at solving systems with elimination. So just like with substitution, we have like a 3-step process for elimination. So the first one is get x or y to be opposite. Oh, I lied. I need to add one that I always forget to add. And most of the time you don't have to do this first step, but line up x, y, the equal sign, and the number. So you want them to be on top of each other. And most of the time it is, but every once in a while it's not. Then we're going to get x or y to be opposite. And what I mean by that is like 2 and -2, or 4 and -4. So after you do that, I'll show that's really the key to the problem, but we're going to combine the two equations. And when you do that, you should eliminate an x or a y. And then the last step is the same as substitution, but plug in your answer from step 3 into either equation. I should say on number 3, combine the two equations and solve. So remember, we're looking for a point, and the point will combine from whatever answer we get in step 3 with whatever answer we get in step 4. Okay, so let's look at a couple problems. So today's should be the easier type. So if we have 3x plus 2y equals 4, and 3x minus 2y equals -4. Okay, so the first step is again get them to line up. So see how the x and the y and the equal sign, the numbers, they all line up. Okay, and so then the second step is to get the x or the y to be opposite. So right now I have the 2 and the -2 for the y part are opposites. I don't have to do that. So on some of your problems today, that's going to be the case, where you're not going to have to do those first two things. Okay, so then we're going to combine the two equations. So 3x and 3x is 6x. 2 and -2 cancel each other out. So we don't have any y left. 4 minus 4 is 0. So we've eliminated the y part. Now the 0 is fine. Don't worry about, like some people think we messed up because it's a 0. No, just the x part of the problem is 0. Okay, so then the fourth step is to plug back 0 into either of the two equations on the top. Go back to the beginning, whichever one you think looks the easiest, that's what you should do. So I think the top one looks the easiest. All the numbers are positive, so put the 0 in for x, and we'll solve it. So 3 times 0 is 0, so basically that's gone. Divide by 2, and y equals 2. So combine your two things to make a coordinate, and you're good. Okay, so that's the basic straightforward like problem, and you'll have a bunch of them like that where they line up. You already have opposite for x or for y, and you'll be like good to go. Okay, so then we'll have some where they'll be lined up, but we won't have opposites. So they're lined up, we're good, but I don't have an opposite for x or for y. So that means I'm going to have to multiply one whole equation, or possibly both of the equations, to make that happen. So the first thing, like, so do I pick the x's, do I pick the y's? The first thing that I usually look at is, do I have opposites? So negative and negative for x's, I don't have opposites, but positive and negative for the y part, I do have an opposite. So I'm gonna stick with the y part on this problem. I won't always, but for this one I am. Okay, so so what you want to always work with the smallest number. So 3 and 6, I'm going to work with 3, even though negative 6 is technically smaller, but just 3 and 6. Can I do 3 times something and make 6? Okay, yes I can. I can do times 2. So, but I need to do times 2 to the whole equation, not just the y part. So I have to distribute to everything. Okay, so I get negative 20x positive 6y equals 2. And then this one, nothing happens because I want the negative 6. Okay, so I got the 6 and the negative 6 to be opposites for the y part. So then we combine the equations. Negative 25x, the y's go away. And divide by negative 25, and x equals negative 1. Okay, so then take that and plug it back into either of the two equations, whichever one you look at and you think looks easier. Okay, so I like the top one, but it doesn't matter, you will get the same answer. Generally the numbers are smaller in that one, so that's why I picked that one. So plug in negative 1 for x, and solve it. minus 10 is negative 9. Divide by 3, and we get negative 3. So then combine your x and y to make the coordinate. Okay. So all your problems today, you're just going to do 3 through 12. 3 through 10, most of them are in order, and all of them have opposites already. For number 9 and 10, you need to change the order around to make things line up. And so I usually, this one where you had to multiply by something. So there's only 10 problems. The first 6 are lined up, ready to go. They're opposites. Okay, then the next 2 you have to change the order around, but they'll be opposites, like the whole equation, one of them by something. Make the order like x, y equal number. It's just most of the problems are set up like that to begin with. Okay, so so if you had one problem, I'm not going to solve this because literally I'm making this up right now, so it may not actually even work out. And let's say you had something like that. Okay, well, they don't line up. So I tend to, like I said, make it look like this, x, y equal number. So if I do minus 2x to that side, and I'm not going to be able to combine it together, it solves it. Now I have x, y equal numbers. So yeah, this wouldn't work out like very nice because it'd end up being a fraction. If I change let's see what happens if I change the 6 to an 8. Okay, so if I combined the two equations, negative 2 and positive 2x goes away, and I get 4y equals 16, and divide by 4, get x equals 4, and then plug it back into either of those two equations. I kind of like that bottom one. I like the 2x plus 3y equals 8. So if I plugged in 4 for the y, for the y part, I did a sloppy y right there. So 2x plus 12 equals 8. 2x equals negative 4, and x equals negative 2. Okay, so combine them together for your coordinate. Okay. Alright, so a couple of them you'll have to move the order around, and then the last 2 you'll have to do this problem. Okay, I move the order around, and then right here it's ready to go, negative 2 and positive 2. And then you'll have just 2 problems where you need to multiply. Okay? Alright, that should do it. Hopefully not too terrible, but we'll see you all tomorrow.